Hello everyone. Today we will learn a very important chapter. We will look into the concepts of a very important chapter, that is differentiation and derivatives. Okay. See, so we are going to learn about differentiation. Or first of all, we will be learning about the derivatives. Okay. Now this is one of the most important chapters that you have to learn. Whether you take mathematics as a subject into your class 2 or not, you have to learn this chapter if you want to learn physics. Okay, these are actually, we can say that these are the tools which can be used to solve various problems of physics. Just these are the mathematical tools. Okay, so there are various concepts of mathematics that are mandatory if you want to learn physics. Okay, so this is one of the chapters that is, it's a part of calculus. We in calculus we include differentiation, integration, and some other things too. But today we will be learning about the basic concepts of differentiation and derivatives. The very basic, that we will go into the very basic rules of derivatives, the meaning of derivatives, okay, rather than solving the problems directly. Okay, so let's see what is this differentiation or derivatives. So before going into this chapter, okay, make sure that you know few of the concepts. Okay, I hope that you are aware of the term tangent. You know what is slope, and you have the basic knowledge of coordinate geometry. Okay, I know that all of these were taught in class 10th standard, and I also know that you have forgotten everything. It's human nature. So whenever there will be the use of these concepts, I will tell you. Okay, don't need to, you need not worry. Okay, now let's come into this differentiation or derivatives. What is this? What is differentiation or derivatives? Why do we need to learn this chapter? Why do we need to understand this chapter? For that, let's go back to our 10th standard. In 10th standard, we learnt about coordinate geometry, and there we learnt about the equation of a straight line. Y is equals to mx plus c. We learnt it or not? We obviously did it. If I ask you, what is this m? What is this m? You will obviously tell me, sir, this is the slope of this straight line. Okay, so you know about slope. Good, very good, very, very good. What is the slope? What's the slope? See, in order to understand the concepts, you have to behave like a layman. Don't use so many, technical words to describe something. If you want to really learn something, then what should I say? Then elaborate it. Okay, in the easiest way you can. Okay, in just layman's terms. This slope I am talking. You told that this m is the slope. Okay, what's the slope? What is the slope? So we also learned that this slope is nothing but the tangent of the angle made by this straight line with the x-axis. Suppose this straight line makes an angle theta with this x-axis. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. So the slope of this straight line is nothing but the tan of the theta. Tan theta, that is, theta is the angle made by this straight line with the x-axis. Okay, sir. That means tan theta is the slope. Yes, it is the slope. Okay, we learned all these things in our previous class. Tell me one thing. The slope of this straight line, the slope of this straight line at this point, at this point, at this point, and at any other point, is the slope same or is it different? It is obviously same because it is a straight line. And here, and this is what we learned in our previous classes. We learned to find the slope of a straight line. It was quite easy. If I want to tell you, if I asked you what is the slope at this point, you found out at this point it will be same. There is nothing. There is no need to calculate for the second time. So this was quite easy. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Now the problem will, okay, before that, suppose what we learned, I am just recapitulating all those what we have learned, already learned. Suppose the coordinate of this point is x1, y1 and the coordinate of this point is x2, y2. So there was a very basic formula to find out that slope of this straight line. This was nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. And this is same at each and every point on this straight line. So taking any 2 points on the straight line, we can find out the slope which will be same for all the points on the given line. But now there is a problem. What is the problem? Earlier it was a straight line. If I do not consider a straight line, suppose the graph is something like this, not a straight line. Or for your understanding, I can even choose this graph. This graph will be much more easier for you. This one. Just tell me one thing. Is the slope at this point, this point, this point, this point, is the slope same? Sir, I have not calculated the slope. How can I understand if the slope is same or not? Arey Baba. Slope, what does slope mean? Slope actually means the inclination. Slope actually means stiffness, isn't it? So suppose there is a triangle like this and another triangle like this. So which triangle is much more steep? Obviously this one. Like we can say just by observing this triangle. Similarly, we can do the same in this way, in this graph also. If we consider this point, just listen very carefully. If we consider this point, the slope will be like this. Stiffness is like this. This is nothing but the tangent at this point. Correct. But the stiffness of this point is like this. Stiffness of this point is like this. Of this point is like this. So the stiffness of this whole curve is changing. That is, the slope of this curve is changing. Now if I ask you to find the slope of this curve, that would be an absurd question, because the slope, there is no particular slope for this whole graph. Each and every point of this graph, of this curve, will give you different slopes. Now if I tell you that find out the slope of this curve at this point, then there is a way. Obviously there is a way. The basic way, the textbook way, not the textbook way, the definition way. The definition says that if you want to find the slope at this point, you have to draw a tangent at this point and find out the slope of this tangent. Find out theta, find out tan theta. But is it practically feasible? So if whenever someone asks you to find the slope of this point of this curve, you will first of all draw a triangle and then find out theta, then find out tan theta, then you will tell that the slope of this curve at this point is this. So to solve that problem, the concept of derivatives or differentiation comes into play. Derivatives or differentiation gives you the slope of the tangent at any point of a curve. This gives you what? Slope of tangent at any point of a curve. Correct. Now see this, whatever I wrote over here, slope of tangent at any point of a curve, it's very important. Listen very carefully. Why did I use the term any point? I told you just earlier, because other than straight line, all the curves have different slopes at different points. So we cannot say what should be the slope of this curve. We have to say what is the slope of this point A on this curve. Correct. That is why I wrote at any point on the curve. Correct? Okay. So what did we learn? We have learned that derivatives or differentiation helps us to find out the slope of a point of a curve. Sir, you did not use the term tangent. You just told slope of any point. Arey Baba, slope always means that it has to be that slope of the tangent. What else you can find out? What the slope of what else you can find out? You have to find out the slope of the tangent only. Correct? So rather than choosing the point at which you are asked to find the slope and then drawing the tangent at that point, finding out theta, then calculating tan theta and then calculating the slope, it's it's not feasible, it's not practical. So the concept of differentiation or derivatives came into being. So using this concept, we can easily find out the slope at this point, this point, this point, this point, every point, whatever any given point, we can find out how it works. Okay. What does the concept tell us? Let's learn this. Now, before going into all these things, I have been talking about curves. Okay. Curves, we call it curve, we call it a graph when we are representing it graphically. But every curve has a particular, what shall I say, equation, isn't it? Every curve has its particular equation. We will consider one such equation in the form of a function. Okay, let us consider a function y is equals to fx. Y is equal to fx. Let us consider a function y is equal to fx. This is the equation of the curve that we are talking about, whose slope at any point we want to calculate. Any fx can be anything. Just fx means you must be aware of this term y is equal to fx. What is fx? Fx is just a function where x is the independent variable. Fx can be anything. Fx can be anything. Fx is equal to x square minus 4x plus 3. It's a quadratic equation. It can be a linear equation 4x. If it becomes a linear equation, it will be a straight line. Okay. Now it can be a trigonometric function sin x, cos x, tan x, anything. Fx means its value should depend upon this independent variable x. And the value of this fx we have stored in another variable y. Is it clear? I hope it is clear to all of you. Now, let us consider that there is an equation y is equals to f of x, and the curve and the graph for this equation y is equal to fx comes out, let us take the previous graph only like this. Okay, comes out like this. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, this is the origin. Now, this is the graph of which equation? Y is equals to fx. Got it? At this curve, we consider any point having x coordinate as x. We are considering a point A, and we are asked to find the slope of this curve at this point A. We are also told that the x coordinate of this point A is x comma 0. X comma 0. tell me one thing. If the x coordinate or the abscissa of this point A is x comma 0, what should be its y coordinate? What should be the y coordinate of this point A? It is actually quite easy. Okay. If the x coordinate of this point A is x comma 0, what should be the y coordinate? It's quite easy. Just listen to me. You are given y is equals to fx. So the y or the coordinate of this point having abscissa x, just put the value f of x. So the y coordinate should be fx. It should be 0 comma f of x. It will be much more clear just in the next step. Just wait for a while. We are told to find the slope of this point at this point of this curve. Okay. We are given the coordinates x comma fx. The rule of derivatives says, see, I am teaching the very basic of derivatives. Whenever you will be very much thorough with all these things, you will not use any of these concepts anymore. You will learn the formulae. There are numerous formulae for different functions. Okay, so you will use all those things and find out the derivative of that. But it is equally important to know the basics, from where we have derived all those things. Okay, so here I am discussing from where all those formulae have been derived. I will also show you, after this I will also show the examples, and then you will be much more clear. So in order to find the slope at this point, we'll do what? We will consider another point on this curve which will be x units ahead of the x coordinate of A. Just listen. I am telling you, consider another point, suppose B, whose x coordinate is h units ahead of the previous one, that is A. So its x coordinate is x plus h comma 0. We have considered another point B whose x coordinate is h units away from that of A. So similarly, if the x coordinate is x plus h, what should be the y coordinate of B? Just put x plus h over here. So f of x plus h will be the y coordinate. Very good. 0 comma f of x plus h. Is it clear? Is it clear? Now, there is a very good concept. There is a very good concept. I will teach you this in two different ways. Right? First, I am telling, just listen to me. We know that there is a single line that can pass through two different points. Is it clear? If there are two different points, okay, there will be one particular line that passes through these two. There cannot be any other line that can pass through all this, through these 2 points. Similarly, if we consider point A and point B, it is obvious that there is one and only one line that can pass through these two, touching these two. Isn't it? Isn't it? Very good. Very good. Okay. There is one and only one line that can pass through these two given points A and B. Just listen to me very carefully. Okay. We got 2 points A and B. We got a line that passes through both these points L. Now can you tell me what should be the slope of the line L? What should be the slope of L? Just few minutes ago I told you that if there is a straight line, and on that straight line we have 2 points having coordinate x1, y1 and x2, y2. then the slope of this line is given by y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Isn't it? So this is a similar situation. This is a straight line L. There are 2 points A and B whose coordinates are given. So what should be the slope of L? y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So what is y2? y2 is f of x plus h. F of x plus h minus y1 means f of x by x2 minus x1 means x plus h, x2 minus x1 is x. Got it? What does this formula give you? This formula gives you the slope of L. Slope of L. Were you told to find the slope of this line L, or you were asked to find the slope of at this point of this curve, at the point A? You were told to find the slope at this point A, but you have found the slope of L. It's not true. How can it be made true? How can it be made true? Using this formula. Listen to me very carefully. If I impose a condition, I have taken another point B, which was h units away from the previous point A along the x-axis. Now if I tell you, if I impose a condition that h tends to 0, the value of h, if it is very, very small, the value of h, if it is very, very small, then we can assume B and A to coincide. Got it? I will teach you this concept in another way also, just after I finish this. Then it will be much more clearer to you. First, just understand this thing. If I reduce this value of h to infinitesimally small value, tends to 0, then we will get a line that actually just pass. Then we won't be getting this L line. We will be getting a line that just touches A. That just touches A. Now the line that touches a point, okay, just once, we call it the tangent. So we can say that this is the tangent actually. When can we say that this is a tangent? If we impose the condition that is limit h tends to 0. Now the concept of limit can be new to many of you. Just listen to this, whatever I am telling. Limit h tends to 0 means we have imposed a condition on the value of h, that h is infinitesimally small. This is what this means. Correct. Now there are various other concepts of the limits and continuity is a different chapter. Okay, we will teach that too. But since this chapter is very much important from the point of view of physics, that is why I am teaching you the concept. So the slope of, now not the slope of L. Now we should not write slope of L. Correct. We should not write slope of L. This becomes what we need actually. Slope of tangent at A. This is the formula. This is the formula. That is limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x by h. This is the definition of derivative. Mathematical definition of derivative. And again telling you, we will never use this formula whenever we are given some function to find the derivative of. We will not use until unless it is stated in the question to find the derivative from the definition itself. Okay. But this is the most basic formula or basic definition of derivative. What did we do? We had a curve. We needed to find out the slope of at this point of this curve. So for that we chose another point B, which was h units away along the x-axis. Then we calculated the slope of the line that passes through both points A and B. Then we imposed a condition of limit h tends to 0. So we got the slope of the tangent at A. Now, as I was telling you, that I will teach you in another way. Just listen to me. This is the formula. This is the formula. We will get this formula only once again. I am not rubbing anything. See, previously I did what? I took 2 points A, B which were h units away from x-axis, and then at last we impose the condition limit h tends to 0. At last we impose the condition limit h tends to 0. But just think about something. Whenever I took this point B, and then and there I had told that the separation between them, that is h, is negligibly small, then this AB, the curve was like this. This was the curve, actually the actual curve given the question. Now if I had stated earlier only that h tends to 0, then don't you think that A and B, this one, I am drawing another one. Suppose this was the curve. We chose one point, we are given one point A, and we chose another point B, and at the same time we stated that B is, that h, that is the separation between A and B along x-axis, is infinitesimally small. Then don't you think that this part is also very small? And very small part of a curve behaves like a straight line. Very small part of a curve behaves like a straight line. So we can take this as a straight line passing through A. We'll get the same result. Got it? If you have not understood that concept, just pay attention over here. Suppose this is the curve. We have chosen 2 points which are very close to one another. Here I have taken the gap a bit larger just to make you understand, so that you can see properly. But actually they are very much close to each other. So this part, don't you think this is actually a straight line, a very small straight line? So this actually becomes a tangent only if we impose the limit h tends to 0 condition initially only. The final result will come out to be same. So we have learned about finding out derivatives. Got it? Okay. Now let's do a question using this formula. Just remember this formula. This will help. This will do. Okay. You must have heard, okay, in the books also, even if you have not completed the chapter, we will do one example only. Today we will do one example, and in the next class we will continue. Got it? In the books you must have read, even if you have not completed a chapter, okay, you must have seen somewhere written d dx of cos x is minus sin x. This is the formula. Let me tell you one thing. What does this d dx mean? D dx of cos x. First of all, let me tell you that d dx of what? Cos x. Cos x, whatever the differentiation of whatever we are doing, that is a function. That is fx. Means we are actually doing d dx of f of x. And here in this question, we are given that f of x is equals to cos x. So basically we are doing d dx of fx. D dx means, see this d, listen to me, this d, before learning about this d dx, we learned about slope. Slope was nothing but change in y coordinate. It's not a triangle, it's delta, by change in x coordinate. Change in y coordinate upon change in x coordinate. Now when these changes are very small, infinitesimally small, then we replace these changes by this delta by d dx, means dy dx, means change in y by change in x. And got it? Now initially see, y is equal to fx I wrote, that is the function is stored in another variable y. So here y means nothing but the function itself, that is d dx of f of x. Correct? This is the way it is written. Another thing, one more thing. Correct? One more thing. I hope you got this one. I'm writing this. One more thing. Listen. If y represents the function fx, then the differential or the derivative of this function fx is denoted as f dash x. Correct? F of x का differentiation का value f dash x, and here y will be changed into y dash. So dashed means differentiated form of the previous function. Correct? Now let us come to this. You must have seen in some books this formula is written ddx of cos x is equals to minus sin x. Now we will derive this formula from this. I am telling you, I have always told you that the formulae that you memorize that have been derived in this manner only. So let's see if I am right or wrong. Let's find out the derivative of cos x with respect to x. The derivative of cos of x. I am telling you to find out the derivative of cos of x. So you should know that here we have considered the function of cos x. The function is cos x. We will use this formula, nothing else. So, got it? So, using this formula, limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x by h. Can you tell me if f of x is cos x here? In this question, in this particular question, f of x is cos x. So, f of x plus h should be cos of x plus h. It's quite simple, isn't it? So, we can write limit h tends to 0 cos of x plus h minus cos of x by h, because fx is cos x. Okay, now let me tell you one thing. In order to solve this, I know many of you are there who do not know how to solve the limit problems. It's okay. We do not require any concept of just assume that there is nothing. Nothing is written over here. The limit is not there. We are not making use of any limit right now. Rather, we will make use of the trigonometric formula. See, trigonometry, derivatives, calculus, these are very important if you want to learn physics. So be very much thorough with all these things. Okay. For example, here we have got a situation where something like this is there. Cos x plus h minus cos x. How to simplify this? So there is a very basic formula, cos c minus cos d. You must be aware of that cos c minus cos d formula. I am 100% sure that, I am quite sure many of you, 80% of you have forgotten cos c minus cos d. This comes out to be 2 sin c plus d by 2 into sin d minus c by 2. D minus c by 2. We will use this formula. So, let's use this formula. Limit h tends to 0. See, here this is c, and this is d, isn't it? So, 2 sin c plus d by 2 means x plus h, or x plus h plus x. You will find it difficult to understand if I don't write in this way. X plus h plus x by 2 into sin d minus c by 2, d x minus h by 2 upon h. Okay. Now let's simplify. X cancelled. Here we are left with sin of minus h by 2, and sin of minus theta is minus sin theta. So we can take out this minus and keep it in the beginning only, that is minus 2 sin. Now this comes out to be x plus h by 2. Simplify and you will get it into sin h by 2. Hope you got it. I just took the minus from here and took it and kept it in the beginning by h. Now we can do one more thing. See, before we proceed here, let me tell you a very basic formula of limits. So there is a formula in limits, that is limit h tends to 0. Okay, sin h by h comes out to be 1. Limit h tends to 0, sin h by h is 1. Here see, sin h by 2, sin h by 2. We can do one more thing. What else we can do? We can take the 2 from here and we can write it like this, h by 2. Now don't you think that this sin h by 2 by h by 2, this is the form of this limit h tends to 0, sin h by 2 by h by 2. So this whole value comes out to be 1. We are left with only limit h tends to 0 minus sine of x plus h by 2. Don't you think we are left with this only? Now here there is no particular formula, just put the value of h as 0. Put the value of h as 0. If we put h as 0, because h tends to infinity, h tends to 0. So if we put the value of h as 0, then what answer are we getting? We are getting the answer as minus sine of x. So fx was cos x. So f dash x comes out to be minus sine x, or d dx of cos x is actually minus sine x. Yeah, you saw this as a formula, and now you know how this formula was derived. We will solve many other problems based on this principle first of all in our next class, and after that we will proceed to those formulae which earn you marks and nothing else. This chapter is like that only. People do it day and night and just to get marks, but they do not understand the basic concepts. So you must understand the basic concepts. Why do we need to find out the differentiation? What does the differentiation or derivative, how does it help us? Because it gives us the slope of a curve which has different slopes for at different points. Got it? So hope you understood it properly. In the next class we will continue. Till then, stay healthy, stay at home, follow the COVID rules. Okay, thank you.